Hi there, welcome to the Guitar Show. We're going to be talking about my Telecasters. And the reason we're going to do this video is just to show you a few ideas of what you can do with your own Telecasters, some mods that you can make. I'm just going to go through them, I'm just going to talk about how I modded them. So this is not really a video to hear sounds really, per se. It's more just to hear, just to kind of see the mods that I've done and sort of understand why I've done them. So we're going to start with the first guitar here. Now, I'm a big fan of Japanese guitars, and in fact, two of these are Japanese. These are made by the ESP Custom Shop. So this Telecaster here is quite interesting because the reason I was attracted to it was quite new, but it had been really played by a punk guitar player. And so the first thing I did when I got it is I polished the frets. I put some, if you can see this, I put some fender. These are just stock fenders, but they're compensated, so that means I can get the intonation correct. So that's kind of like the first modification I did. Actually, because the fingerboard was so worn, and it's not relic, this is actually naturally worn, I decided to put some actually fake relic Clousson tuners there, just to kind of give it a more sort of old look. I've got a Mojo pickup in here because they came with Seymour Duncan Antiquities, but I felt that the Seymour Duncan in the neck was a bit more chimey. Just gives it a bit more sort of treble. So that's just more chime. And on the bridge pickup, I've got it's 11K, and it's actually a Don Mayer bridge pickup. Now the Don Mayer pickups, for me, I think he's really gone into that whole blackguard thing, and I've tried a lot of kind of blackguard style pickups, and for me Don Mayer really just captured the essence of that without having to, you know, go and get a lap steel and an old 50s Fender lap steel and take the pickup out and all that stuff. This really kind of gets a close approximation. So it's got that and that kind of, because really what I like this kind of Telecaster for is for that kind of chicken picking. That's the kind of sort of sound that I love from that bridge pickup. And actually with them both together, it's a real kind of sort of chimey. I mean, let's face it, with a blackguard Telecaster you can do absolutely anything. You can do the whole gig. You can have, for me, you can have this one guitar and have your whole career on this one guitar, as many artists have. Okay, another modification that I would recommend on a blackguard Tele, jumbo frets. You know, if you can go to 6105s or 6100 fret wire, then this thing is really going to become a force de resistance. It's really you're going to be able to cover all the bases, you know, especially if it's playing scales, you know, and then sort of lead lines. And also just if you're kind of doing the, you know, the vibrato. You know, if you want to know how Stevie Ray Vaughan had that amazing vibrato, it's because he had 6100 fret wire, you know. This is probably 6105, but if I get it refretted, which I may have to soon, I will go to 6100. So that's really what I'm thinking. It actually came with a black guard originally, but the previous owner changed it to a white guard, and I'm kind of liking the look of it actually at the moment. So really, just to recap, the mods on this one were the compensated bridge saddles. I took out the Seymour Duncan Antiquities and replaced it with a Don Mayer and a Mojo pickup here in the neck, which is a 60s style pickup, but for some reason it works with this guitar. And then I put some old fashioned tuners on there. So it's not really a drastic change, but a few sort of modifications just to get it to my taste. And this has got 11s on it. Okay, so let's go to this one here. Now this one here is actually quite interesting. Let me just tune this up. Okay, so let's talk about this Telecaster here. This has gone through a lot of changes. It's where it needs to be now. Everything's kind of right. But it took a long time to get it to where it's at. So really, if I just talk you through it, it started life as my attempt to build a 1960s, sort of mid-60s style Telecaster, which obviously had the rosewood neck. So I got this made by a builder called Robert Gilbert, and he put a Brazilian board on it, clay dots, nice sort of flamed maple back. It's quite a chunky neck. I really wanted a nice kind of big chunky neck on it. MJT made the body for me, and then I had the wise idea of installing an old Dynasonic Diamond from the 50s, so you can see that there, which is this pickup here. Now I got that idea from a guitarist who was one of the session guys for Fistful of Dollars and The Good and the Bad and the Ugly, who resided in Italy in the 60s when they made that movie and they cut the soundtrack. So this Italian guy had two of these, one here and one here in the neck. Since then I've actually noticed that Bill Frisell and also a friend of mine on Facebook, Arlene Roth, who was he's a great Telecaster player, and you probably know him, and he has a new one built with 2 Diamonds. So this kind of Diamond pickup is really kind of catching on the Telecaster, so it's something you want to check out. Let's have a listen to that Diamond. I'm going to play it to you now. So it's very cutting. It's really kind of crying out for that sort of Brian Setzer style, you know. So that's kind of really what I was thinking when I installed this pickup. And it's really charming. You can also get kind of like a Telecaster. If you just roll the kind of volume down or the tone just a little bit. It's really good for the chicken picking and the... So it's really kind of nice for that whole chicken picking and kind of when I built this guitar I saw it as a kind of a Telecaster Gretsch style. And so then the idea was to put something in the neck, and I found this gold guide tone pickup from the 1960s. As you can see there, and this is just probably the best sounding pickup that I actually own. It's just a beautiful, beautiful sound. It's really nice, really chimey. You can play some beautiful. It's a great, beautiful sounding pickup. This is the neck one. So with a combination of them too, it's quite funky. You've got a real kind of nice combination there. So really that's kind of worked out really well. Now I did actually have a Bigsby installed on this guitar, and you can kind of see the snake bite, the screw holes. But basically I took out the Bigsby in the end because it messed with the tension on the guitar and it just didn't kind of feel right, So now it's much looser. more, and I think the Bigsby took out a better sustain. I think the Bigsby kind of works or it doesn't. So that's a kind of modification too far. I really did plan for a Bigsby to be on this guitar. And you can see a video where I've done a video on it, but it just kind of in the end it just didn't feel right. I may try again. Another idea I've got is to put actually a Stratocaster style tremolo in this guitar, but then again it's going to change the sound, and I kind of like the sound. This I highly recommend. This is a Mastery bridge, which is I bought actually, if I show you that. So this is the Mastery bridge, and the strings go through the body, obviously, and out here. And this is a great addition just for intonation and, you know, tuning, and it really, really does work. So all in all, the guitar. And then with this sort of pickup, so it's kind of very unique, and you know, it kind of makes you want to play in a certain style. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is interesting. So this is obviously a slide guitar. Well, in case you didn't know, what we've got here. Just go through it. We've got a Mojo pickups. It's a new replica, repro of an old Valco pickup, and this is another original guide tone. Actually, it's a sister of this pickup in here. So these two pickups came from the same guitar, and they both sound absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to put it up here on this neck pickup, and you can hear it now. This is tuned to D major. And obviously you've got this. This is the Valco. So that's kind of really nice, sort of got all your nice treble from there. Now in this position here, it's actually out of phase. So it's like that kind of Peter Green sound, which is just really great for this funky sort of style. So that's you know, also we've got a modified bridge here, the Valco and the guide tone. This is wired in a very, very peculiar way. And that's in order to get these strings and these strings to work all together. These strings are all out of phase. On a lot of the time, I see these guitars. These set of the strings are out of phase, and these are in phase. So you get a drop of volume as you go through. But this has been wired in a special way. They're all out of phase, so you don't get a drop in volume. You know, and that's really. I mean, this is really kind of. It's got 6100 fret wire, and it's got some interesting tuners on there. You can see these. So I thought, because I think when you're using slide guitar and you're using big heavy strings, you really need some good tuners. So these are German made tuners, and this has got flat wounds. Okay, so this is flat wound. So this other guitar here is one of my favourites. Just because I kind of discovered the flat wounds off of Rycuda. For using slide guitar, and I thought, what about if I use flat wounds on a Telecaster? So I happened upon this, another ESP custom shop guitar, and so I had it stock. It was just like a 69 thin line Carina body. It's a little bit beaten up, and the neck is gorgeous. It's got thin frets, so I may change these, but at the moment they're kind of holding up. So it's a standard guitar, standard tuners. So the modifications I did with this one were I put the gold foil guide tone. This is a original 60s one, but it's been rewound by Mojo pickups, so it's kind of old and new. This pickup is actually a Mojo pickup which was a replica. I actually asked Mark from Mojo, can you build me a replica of Robin Ford's bridge pickup, which was pretty crazy, but I somehow got the measurements of that. I don't know how, through David or his old tech or something, and so we made this pickup up. It's a Glendale bridge and it's Glendale saddles, so check out Glendale. Glendale bridge and saddles are amazing. They are the best. So if you want to spend some money on a Telecaster, I highly recommend Glendale saddles. So let's listen to this. It's kind of got this really kind of sort of old sort of hear that. It's a beautiful sound. That's with the guide tone, you know. And then we've got this sort of imposition, and again, you know, I'm a fan. For some reason, I don't know why this is, I just love flat wound strings and an out of phase sound. So for some reason this is out of phase. So let's play some Blake Mills. Okay, yeah. Sorry, can't even tune the thing in today. Right, so that's that sound, and obviously it's got a nice sort of back pickup here. So it's really nice. You think with the flat wounds it would be quite dead, but I don't know, it just really works. So another thing I use pretty much in all of these guitars a certain type of cap. It's a green cap. It's called a dubulator. It's a dubulator, and it's a big fat green cap. I'll have to maybe put it in the comments what it actually is, but I just find that, so if I sort of roll that, and also, you know, a cap for me affects the sound. Even if you've got everything up full blast, the cap is just going to affect the tone of the instrument. So kind of like some consistency along. So that's really my collection of my 4 Telecasters. So my thing is, you know, if you're going to make, you know, sometimes it's nice to keep it sort of historically correct, and I think I'm going to keep this one. You know, I might even put a black scratch plate on it eventually, and then it's going to be a full-on blackguard telly. But this is going to pretty much stay stock, I think. You know, but obviously it's had a few modifications. But the kind of moral of this video is, you know, don't be afraid to, you know, make a modification if you need to. If you kind of catch something another player is doing and you think, oh, I like that, that's a really cool sound, then you know, don't be afraid to you know, tinker with your guitars. Obviously I don't want to be responsible for you messing up your vintage instruments, so this is all down to your own responsibility. But so if you're not getting the sound that you want, maybe try a different cap. You know, I've gone through lots and lots of caps with my friend Brian. Sometimes we put some clippers and we swap out the caps and, you know, strum some chords so that we can do it in real time. That's something else you might want to try out. So it could just be the caps, the pots you might want to change, the saddles, you know, every single little thing on a guitar can make a difference. obviously the reverse thing, you might get an instrument which may sound pretty good, you know, and you don't need to touch it. In that case, if it sounds good and it chimes and it does what you want, then don't modify it. You know, there's no point, because you're going to change something. Sometimes a stock, you know, like for example, this guitar here, this is a Goto bridge. You know, Goto is good quality Japanese. Sometimes they sound better than, you know, the high-end Glendales on certain instruments. Maybe a Glendale is going to be too chimey or too high-end. You're going to have too much high-end off of it. So every change that you make on your instrument is going to affect the tone. But it may be that you have a concept, like for example, for this guitar here. For this guitar, I wanted to do something really original, you know, and I had a concept of, you know, spaghetti western, you know, meets kind of Howlin' Wolf, you know, with the gold foil, you know, and then you got the spaghetti western, but in a kind of telly package. And then the idea was to have a tremolo, but that didn't work out, so I've kind of kept it. And this is a really unique sounding instrument, you know. It's got an amazing sound, you know. It's got a few problems. I need to tweak the action and tweak a few things, but you know, this stuff never ends. You know, you're always tweaking stuff. So, you know, the philosophy here is just really, you know, maybe have not one telly that you keep as historically standard, but maybe, you know, build something else out of parts that you can kind of experiment with, and you know, sort of a bit of a DIY sort of approach to, you know, making a Telecaster something unique. And tellies are really great instruments to do that with, you know, because basically they're essentially just a slab of wood and a neck, you know, so you can swap everything out, you know. It could be that the tuners, you know, you just change the tuners. These are the German tuners, and you know, it could just be a simple mod like that, you know. You know, Keith Richards' famous 52 Blackguard, he changes the humbucker to a PAF, the neck to a humbucker. He changes the bridge to an old Fender lap steel pickup, and he has a brass, you know, 5 brass saddles, because he's playing 5-string telly, and then he changes the tuners, you know. So he makes it, he changes the guitar in order for him to gig, for him to do the gig and not have bits fall off the guitar, and for him to do the job, you know. That's why we make these changes. So something to think about. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe and leave some comments. Take care. See you on the road. Take care. God bless.